In this video, we're going to be exploring the programming concept of selection. Now, key to understanding selection is understanding logical expressions. So if you don't feel 100% confident with what a logical expression is and how they work, I'd suggest that you check out the logical expression explainer video before you start on this. Okay, so let's get stuck into exploring selection. And again, the notes that I put down on the slide here, I would suggest that you put down on a revision card that you can refer back to later on. So we're going to start off just by explaining selection, by defining selection. So we can define selection quite simply as a decision within our program. So that's how I'm going to define it. Selection equals a decision within a program. Now at the start I said logical expressions, they were key to understanding selection, and they are. And a logical expression is just the comparison of two values. So I'm just going to write a quick definition of a logical expression to my notes as well. So I'm going to say a logical expression equals the comparison of two values. Okay, so let's start to have a look at how we can construct a selection statement. Now, often when you're constructing selection statements, you will use an if-else statement. At GCSE, it's the only real selection statement that you need to be aware of. So when I'm creating a if-else statement, I'm always going to start off with the keyword if. That's just telling my program that I'm using an element of selection, that I'm using an if-else statement. So I'm just going to label it in my notes as a keyword. There we go. The next part of my if-else statement is the logical expression. So again, the logical expression is just the comparison of two values. I'm going to use a really basic logical expression here, and I'm just going to check to see if the value 10 is the same as or equal to the value 10. I'm just going to label the logical expression in my notes. So there we go, logical expression. You might have noticed that I ended the logical expression with a colon. That's just part of the structure of an if-else statement. You have to end that first line of an if-else statement with a colon. Okay. Now, if my logical expression returns true, whatever is indented underneath the keyword if is going to be executed. So I'm just going to print out hello, and I'm going to make a note just saying whatever's indented will be executed if true is returned. So whatever is indented underneath the keyword if will be executed if true is returned. Okay. The next thing I'm going to do within my if-else statement is type in the keyword else. I'm also going to label it as a keyword in my notes. There we go. And now if my logical expression returns false, whatever is indented underneath the keyword else is what is going to be executed. So I'm just going to print out underneath my keyword else goodbye. And I'm also going to put a note down in my notes just saying whatever is indented underneath else will be executed if the logical expression returns false. So whatever is indented underneath else will be executed if the logical expression returns false. That is the basic structure of every if-else statement. You have a keyword if that's just telling your program you're using an if-else statement. You'll then have a logical expression, which is the comparison of two values. If that logical expression returns true, then whatever is indented underneath that keyword if will be executed. And if your logical expression returns false, then whatever is indented underneath that keyword else is what will be executed. Okay, so let's start to have a look at how we can construct an if-else statement in Python using the Replit IDE. Now I'm going to write a really basic program that checks to see if somebody is old enough to drive. I'm going to start off my program by using a variable. So I'm going to type in the variable name of age. I'm going to use the assignment operator, which is always an equal sign. And to start with, I'm going to make my variable hold the value of 16. I'm then going to go down a couple of lines and I'm going to begin to construct my if-else statement. So I'm going to start off with the keyword if, and in this logical expression, which follows the keyword if, I'm going to check to see if age is less than 17. Now, if age is less than 17, the variable age is less than 17, the logical expression is going to return true. So whatever is indented underneath that keyword if is what is going to be executed. So if the variable age is less than 16, true will be returned, and I will print out you are not old enough to drive. If the variable age holds a value that is equal to or greater than 17, then false is going to be returned, and whatever is indented underneath the keyword else in my if-else statement is what is going to be executed. And here I'm just going to print out you are old enough to drive. Okay, that is the basic construct of my if-else statement. So it's now at a stage where I can start to test it. So I'm going to run my program and I'm going to see what happens. Okay, fantastic. So the first time I've run it, it's printed out you are not old enough to drive. My variable age was holding the value of 16. Therefore, my logical expression returned false because the value in age is less than 17. Returned true, sorry, because the value in age was less than 17. Therefore, you are not old enough to drive was output. If I changed the variable value to, I don't know, 29, I run my program again, I can see you are old enough to drive has been output, and that is because the logical expression has returned false. So we're going to leave the video there. Selection statements, you use them all the time when you're programming. They're one of the foundation concepts. In theory, you could just use selection statements to write any program, although it would be a very long program.